Hey, I'm glad you stopped by. This video is Mrs. K's way of number lines, identifying integers and their opposites. In this video, we are going to be doing three things: identifying what an integer is, seeing those integers on a horizontal number line, and then we're going to be using that number line in order to be able to find what opposites of each of the integers are. So let's first go into the definition of integers. At this point, I would like you to pause the video and write down this definition, whether it's in your notes or if you're typing them in your notes somewhere else. But this is a good definition to have in your notes for the whole entire year. Now that you've written it down, let's see what it says. Integers are a set of all whole positive numbers and their opposites. So first when we're going to be talking about what is a whole positive number, and then later on at the end of the lesson, we're going to be defining what opposites means. So, reading the definition is one thing, but kind of seeing really helps believe. So I want to talk about a horizontal number line. It's horizontal because it's going from left to right, and it's straight line. Now we're going to be starting with the 0, and that's going to be really important because we're going to be talking about what numbers are on the right side and the left side of that 0. So at this time, I would like for you to pause the video. I want you to be able to draw this number line because I want to be able to see that number line in your notes tomorrow. So why don't you take a second, pause the video, and draw a number line. Wow, that number line looks great. Now, we're going to be starting again with the idea of 0. 0 represents nothing. If we have $0 or we have 0 pieces of candy, we have 0 hours of homework. Those are all representing that there is nothing that we have. Now let's talk about the numbers to the right. Now these are going to be those whole and positive numbers. Now I made the positive blue because I wanted you to be able to see what those types of numbers are. So this is the numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are positive integers. Now we sometimes will say positive integers, or we'll talk about it being whole numbers, because each of these represents 1 whole pizza, 2 whole class periods, 3 whole hours, 4 whole dollars. Now because it's positive, we would assume that we would have a positive sign in front of each of these different numbers. And we can represent each of those with a positive number, but we don't have to. We know that if we see any number and it doesn't have anything before it, if it has something empty like right here in front of the 4, that represents a positive number. So you can put the positive number in front of it, but at the same time, we just don't really need that. But we are going to see a symbol in front of some numbers when we go to the left of 0. Now, as we went to the right, we were increasing. Our numbers got bigger. This arrow represents that as we go to the right, our numbers will keep going. So our next number would be 7, 8, 9, etc. Now, on the left of our number line, as we go to the left of 0, we have these other numbers that we call negative integers. As we go to the left, we are showing that we are losing something or we are decreasing in value. So I have 1 less hour of homework. I have lost $2. I had to give away 3 pieces of candy. Each of these are negative integers. So if we think of 0 as a mirror, it is right in the middle and we see it as a mirror, we kind of see a little bit of a reflection. As you go to the right one, you also go to the left one. If you go to the right 2, you can also go to the left 2. We see that there's something happening here, and we're going to be talking about that next. Now, if everything over here on the right is blue and positive, and everything on the left is red and negative, what does that mean about 0? Well, 0, we need to know, is not positive or negative. It just is itself. So we never are going to see a symbol, a positive or a negative sign in front of 0. Even though we don't see a positive always in front of positive numbers, we aren't ever going to see anything in front of 0. Now let's talk about those opposites. Just like I was talking about before with the mirror, let's read the definition and write down the definition for opposites. Opposites are 2 numbers are opposites if, on a number line, they are the same distance from 0, but on the different sides of 0. So let's look at a few examples. So if we look here, let's look at -5 and +5. If I look at -5 is, oops, I've got to make that. We say -5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different steps away from 0. So if you think of this as a mirror, you could take 5 steps away from the mirror and you would be 5 steps away. Now for +5, if I start at 0, I also go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each of these are 5 steps away from 0, but one is on the right side and one is on the left side. Now let's talk about a different example. 3. Well, what could be the opposite of 3? Well, if we take that into consideration, we could start at 0 and go 1, 2, 3. Now I want to go the same amount of time, or same amount of spaces, but I want to go to the left instead of to the right. So 1, 2, 3. So the opposite of 3 is going to be, yeah, you guessed it, -3. Now what about our last one? What about 0? The opposite of 0 is, can you guess it? Well, it's itself. Since 0 is not positive or negative, its own opposite is itself. Because I can't go to the left or to the right, so the opposite of 0 is just 0. Now, what are you noticing about these different numbers here? You're seeing that even though these are both opposites, the only difference is the symbol on each of them. So all you have to know is if you can find the integer, the whole value, you could also find its opposite by finding the negative value. If you find its negative value, all you need to do is to be able to find the positive value. So there you go, guys. That's finding opposites and integers on a horizontal number line. So I know that lesson was pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy, and I just wanted to leave you with a reward of a picture of my puppy Callie the day we got to bring her home from the breeder. So right in this picture, she's only about 8 weeks old and such a sweet little puppy, but as you can notice, she's got big old paws and she still has big old paws. So keep watching my videos and you'll be able to see Callie as she transforms from a puppy to a big old sweet old dog. Thanks, you guys. See you in class tomorrow.